In this 21-day challenge, we're going to be talking about the stability of the pelvic floor as it relates to the stability of your core. It's a key factor in balance and in doing exercises properly and efficiently. We can really work the core and keep that spine nice and stable if we have a stronger pelvic floor. Your pelvic floor is a hammock of muscles that sits at the base of your pelvis. We all have one, men and women. And what we want to know about this is that we have the ability, hopefully, in this pelvic floor to make those muscles rise up just slightly. We also want to make sure that we have that pelvis itself in a neutral position. Oftentimes we tilt forward a little bit. What we want to do is keep that in a neutral space so that the curve in the back of the spine is more natural and not exaggerated as it would be if we were tilting forward. Sometimes you might feel like your stomach pokes out a little bit more than you would like, and our tendency is to draw it in. Instead, let's try shifting the pelvis to be in a more neutral position, a nice long line from the one side of the hips to the other. So holding your hand across your waistline, you can feel, does that make a long line right across the center of the hips? Or is there a little bit of a tilt forward and that line feels as it's sagging? Or do you have a tilt backward and that line feels really high? We're going to talk a little bit about this as we go through it, but I wanted you to have a visual as to what your pelvic floor actually looks like. Those hammock of muscles and ligaments that are at the base of your core. Now that you have an explanation of what those pelvic floor muscles look like, try a standing exercise to see if we can connect our breath with that pelvic floor. Now place a hand at your diaphragm, the top of your core, and a hand at the base of your core, the top of that pelvic floor, okay? It's underneath, it's a hammock, but we have that top connected at either point here. So we're gonna hang on to that. Right here, we're gonna take a breath in as much as you can. And as you exhale, I want you to feel that pelvic floor. Take that inhale again, expanding through the diaphragm, pushing the breath down into the pelvic floor. Maybe you're connecting the breath with that hammock of muscles. Maybe it feels as though it's rising up a little bit. And as you exhale, really connecting that feeling in that pelvic floor. Really simple exercise to see if you can activate the pelvic floor on your own. If you can't, or you're having difficulty making that connection, find a playground ball or a Pilates ball, a pillow, a yoga block, or even a book, something that you can hold easily between your knees and squeeze. Placing that object between your knees and simply squeezing the knees together may help you find those pelvic floor muscles and may make you feel as though they are rising up. It's not a cinching in of the stomach, but just a rising up in those muscles. Hopefully you can find that tool that allows you to feel that so that you have more success in this challenge.